Guan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th and France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Good morning, and welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host. Our show aims to challenge us to see ourselves more deeply, as well as our community and the world around us. Our topic today is We the People, and we will be speaking to those who are participating in the largest protest in our U.S. history. Our country was founded on No Kings, and we continue the proud tradition in our nationwide No Kings rallies. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo. Rick has taught ethics for many years. And using this background, Rick, what are some things that we should be thinking about as we approach the No Kings rally?
Well, not just because, thanks, Lori, not just because I taught it, but because I'm passionate about people having a voice. I want us all to be able to distinguish how we think about right and wrong. And I'll go over some of those a little later, but the basic bullet point version of that is we have agreements among each other. They're laws, there are rules. Even if you play Monopoly, there's rules. That's one way to know. There's certain results we're looking for in the world, or looking for results to stop. That's two. We know what's fair. No, most of us, if we're not criminals. And the fourth, we have something about honor and integrity in our moral character. Are we a caring person or not? So those are four ways we think about right and wrong. They all work together. They don't always work seamlessly, but most of the time they work invisibly. We just kind of go there when we think about right and wrong or good and bad.
Now, you are going to a Minneapolis rally.
I am. Yes. How did you know?
Because we have been talking about it.
Oh, we were talking
Can
about
you
it.
also let the audience know about some of the Minneapolis rallies that are going to be taking place today?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I see that are local. One's the Twin Cities one in downtown Minneapolis. There's a one in St. Louis Park. There's one in the Northwest Metro. There's a Golden Valley location. There's a Richfield location. And there's a St. Paul Highland area one. So that is all of them. Now, if you want to know like where exactly, go to indivisible, not invisible, just indivisible twincities.org. Put in your zip code and it'll tell you what your choices are and the exact locations.
I also want to share throughout the show some information that the No Kings rallies have been putting out. And this is a little description. Taking to the streets is one of the biggest lawful displays of nonviolent protest in American history. The goal will be once again to prove this country is strongest when we are in community with each other, working for the benefit of one another. Others try to divide. What we're trying to do is march with joy and unity. So remember, this march is not just against kingship. It is for your friends, your family, your neighbors, and of all the incredible people in this country working towards a better future. I believe we have Maureen from Colorado on the line. Is that right, Patrick? Maureen, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Lori. Good
Oh,
morning, Rick.
Maureen, it's so good to have you on the call. We're delighted that you're joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Maureen, my big question is, why is this important to you? Why are you out there in Colorado? Tell me.
Oh, I'm gonna start crying about why it's important. I love my country. I'm the granddaughter of immigrants. I'm the daughter and the sister of United States Marines. I want to protect our democracy, and it's being dismantled. As we speak, it's being dismantled by the Trump administration. I want to do everything I can to protest along with other members of my community.
And what do you hope will be achieved with the rally?
My immediate hope is that the administration and the Republicans in Congress will take note of the millions of us who are protesting, who are peacefully protesting today because we love our country. And perhaps they will scale back some of the terror that they've been inflicting on both immigrants and citizens in this country. I'm hoping that some of the Republicans will have a spine and start voting for legislation that is more compassionate. And I'm hoping, I just finished with a group of volunteers here in Colorado writing 285 postcards to voters in the state of Virginia, where there's a gubernatorial election, not just for governor, but lieutenant governor, attorney general, because we need to elect more Democrats or independents, anybody who will push back against the terror and the indignities and the lawlessness of the Trump administration.
And Maureen, you're using the word terror. You know, ethics has a certain definition I learned from Daniel Ellsberg, who was a military strategist, and he knew his military ethics. Terrorism fits the definition of what we're talking about. If you're inflicting serious harm on people for political purposes, that's terrorism.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about.
I'm very, very.
No, go ahead.
I'm very concerned about the suppression of free speech on college campuses, against media, just against individuals who speak out. I'm very concerned about that.
I know you have family and friends out that you're working with out there, but you also have good friends out in Virginia. So I'm glad to hear that you're getting the word out for our fellow Virginians.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tell me about how it feels in Colorado right now.
Oh, well, Colorado is it's a purple state. We have a Democratic governor and 2 Democratic senators, but we also have Lauren Boebert. And even in my neighborhood, my beautiful neighborhood, I'm sitting in my backyard right now, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I have a tiny view of the mountains from where I am. But even in my neighborhood, we have some Trump supporters. And what's baffling to me is my neighbors who voted for Trump are very nice as neighbors to me. They're very welcoming as neighbors. Maybe that's because my husband and I are white, our children are white, and we ourselves are not immigrants. But I don't understand how well-educated, seemingly kind people voted for this administration. They must not be consuming truthful news. And
that's a good
I have
bet.
friends. Yeah, I have a few friends around the country that voted for Trump, and I scratch my head because they're very loving towards me.
One wonders sometimes when I've talked to folks, and I have friends and family that are Trump supporters, and I wonder if there's been a repression for a long time that they feel left out somehow. And I don't understand that, of course. But there's a lot coming from, it seems like, many years. This isn't just Trump, I don't think. I think there's been there's been permission that Trump has given to folks to voice some sort of angst they have in this victimization they have about themselves, because it seems like Trump plays on victimization, that somehow other people have created this terrible place and he's going to clean it up, instead of creating that sense of unity and that we are community and that we are connected. What would you like to see in having neighbors more warmly see everyone and not just their next door neighbor?
Well, I wish they would go to legitimate news sites instead of watching Fox News or One America or Newsmax. Again, I'm totally baffled. I have a dear friend who lives in the Midwest, and she doesn't believe anything that I that I say that's true. Like
Yeah.
she says, I just don't believe that's true when I tell her what's happening because she's not watching the same thing.
Yeah.
Another thing I hope that people do is have civil conversations, not just with their neighbors, but with strangers. I'm very outgoing. I talk to people all the time, and I just ask them very nicely. One thing I encourage everyone to do, ask young people if they're registered to vote. I'm shocked at how many younger, when I say younger, I mean like below 30, how many of their generation either isn't registered to vote or they don't vote because they think it won't make a difference. I ask every server in a restaurant, if they're young, I always ask them if they're registered to vote. And if they're not, I ask them what county they're in. And then I pull out my phone and I Google how to register to vote for their county.
I
And
love that.
and I send it to them. And another thing that you can do that's very easy is wear T-shirts that have a message on them. I have a T-shirt that says, it's the Statue of Liberty, and it says resist on it. And I can't tell you how many people have said, I like your T-shirt. And I say, thank you. Would you like to help me write postcards to voters for this upcoming election?
You are wonderful, Maureen.
That's awesome.
I mean, I ask total strangers. I've asked the clerk at the thrift store where I shop, and I ask women in the locker room at the Y. And nobody says no. Everybody says yes. I'll help you.
You're a natural recruiter, Maureen, and you always have been. I love that about you.
Yeah. Can I tell you what my sign says for the protest that I'm leaving for soon?
Yes, please do.
My sign says, "Where law ends, tyranny begins. No kings."
Oh, I love that.
Wonderful.
Maureen, that's
And
wonderful. Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I even protest when I travel. I was in the Midwest a few months ago, and I was actually at my mother's continuing care center, and I can't tell you how many women and men in their 80s and 90s came out on their walkers on the main
Yeah.
street
I
to
love it.
protest.
I love it. Well, I want to end this segment with first thanking you, Maureen, for
You're
spending
welcome.
time and sharing your heart that you always do so beautifully. And we appreciate the work that you're doing. I also want to share some top 10 rally reminders. I'm going to share it throughout the show. And the first two is just so perfect for you. The first two reminders they have is lead with love, not anger. Focus your energy on what you stand for, not what you stand against. Anger fades, compassion lasts. And the other is look out for one another. When you're out there, offer water, a smile, or friendly chat with someone nearby. Check in on families, elders, and people with mobility needs. Support them when you're out there. So thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for joining the rally. And thank you for sharing
you.
from your heart, Maureen. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And then if you all would like to call in, we are opening the lines today. And the number is, my friend Rick?
952-946-6205. 952-946-6205.
And stay with us. We'll be right back after a few great announcements. You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hey, it's Freddie Bell, host of New Beginnings, designed for those of us more seasoned, I'll say, with informative talk on everything from health, finance, local and regional news, volunteerism, spirituality, and even a bit of humor tossed in.
Reliable source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Minnesota, come with me as we spend the next 4 years screaming, what now? It's the Matt McNeil Show on AM 950 from 3 to 5 p.m. weekday afternoons. It'll be a hoot watching all the MAGA Republicans slowly come to the realization that they voted for their own pain and suffering. It won't make our pain any better, but at least we can bask in the glow of their internal 40-watt bulbs as they slowly turn up the dimmer switch in their noggins. We'll scream, told you so. They'll scream, eggs! In the Twin Cities of Minnesota, 3 to 5 p.m. weekdays. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. And I'm glad you have made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host. And our topic today is We the People. And we're going to be speaking to those who are participating in the largest protest in our U.S. history. Our country was founded on no kings, and we continue the proud tradition with our nationwide No King rallies. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo. Welcome, Rick, for being a part of this. I so appreciate you.
That's me. I'm planning to go to the Twin Cities, one of 6 of them in the area, this afternoon early.
And how can people find out where specifically these rallies are?
Yeah, so the Twin Cities folks, go to indivisibletwincities.org. Indivisibletwincities.org. Just plug in your zip code and you'll find one of many near you. If you're other places in the country, just go to indivisible.org and that'll lead you down the path to where you can go to one.
And we are opening our lines for listeners. Tell us how folks can call in.
There's actually a phone number, 952-946-6205. That's our studio line. It's very special.
I am going to be sharing throughout the show information that's shared with us from the No Kings organizers. And I just wanted to share this part for our second segment. First and foremost, remember that No Kings is a peaceful and lawful movement. Protesters are pushing back against authoritarianism through community and joy. One of the suggestions they have is wear yellow. People around the world have used this color to show collective strength in the face of oppression. This movement is no different. Aligning with the historic context while taking a step into our shared future. Think of it as a shared symbol. It does not need to be an entire outfit, but it could be. A bandana, a hat, a shirt, any bright pop of yellow will work perfectly. And of course, if you don't have anything yellow, don't worry. Organizers are encouraging people to come as you are. And in our second segment, we have a guest from Connecticut. Deborah, my friend Deb, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. So tell me why it's important to you to participate in this rally.
Well, like Maureen before me, I love this country and the democratic principles on which it was founded. These are principles which we have protected at great sacrifice and which have been an example to the world. And I feel that it's my civic duty as well as my moral responsibility to protest the attempt to dismantle these principles.
Tell me how it feels out in Connecticut.
It feels juicy. Yeah, I think that people are very much looking forward to this rally because of what it stands for, what we stand for. It's going to be peaceful. There are going to be people who are mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers and, dads with kids in strollers and, people from all different kinds of organizations and churches and communities who are coming together and saying, we have power, we have a voice. And this is the way that we want you all to hear our voice in a peaceful protest. That means a lot to all of us.
Deb, I know professionally you've got a background in counseling and social work. Talk to me about how folks are struggling and what ways the rally may help them, but bigger than that, what do you think is going on with folks' hearts and souls right now?
I think there are a lot of issues that are important to different people, obviously, but I can speak for those of us who are really affected by seeing people suffering and feeling that we have a moral imperative to do something about it. It's absolutely heartbreaking for folks to see immigrant families torn apart. I worked with many immigrant families, and the fear is unbelievable. The way their lives have been affected is terrible. And to see people losing their health care, wondering if they're going to be able to get their kids immunized, knowing that there have been cuts to scientific advances that could help to develop a cure for a child's chronic illness, only to see funding being cut. I mean, it's deeply disturbing, not just to me, but to many people with whom I spend time and have worked. And I can also say that from a faith perspective, to see Christianity distorted into an instrument of control hits us as an absolute assault on my faith, on the faith of my fellow congregants, and it's extremely disturbing. And I really don't feel that I have a choice but to use my voice to say enough is enough.
And Deb, one of my mentors from South Africa many years ago, teaching me about theology and ethics, said the corruption of the worst becomes the corruption of the best becomes the worst, and that's what we're seeing with some of this.
And the challenges of the divide. What recommendations or thoughts do you have on knitting us back together? We're such a divided country. What ways do we knit?
I've given a lot of thought to that. I think that, first of all, we're all human beings, and we have a lot more in common than we have that separates us. And I think we really have to focus on that. The hyperpartisanship and the polarization that exists in our political discourse is not getting us anywhere, and it's deeply troubling. It's a huge problem to demonize people who disagree with us, and this tactic is being used freely to drive a bigger wedge between us. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it's working. I think that we have to address this dualistic thinking. I'm right and you're wrong, because it's not at all helpful, and it's incredibly divisive. And I think if we could learn to listen to one another, to put aside our defensiveness, and to really employ empathy, to put ourselves in someone else's shoes for a moment, rather than tearing one another down, that would be a good start. But I think overall, we just need to be more curious. To learn about one another's stories. Why do you hold the views that you do, and what shaped you as you were growing up and in your adult life? And then try to find a point of connection, because when we connect with someone, it's a lot harder to demonize them.
Absolutely. And there is an isolation that can come out of the demonization as well. And creating that sense of community is so powerful. I have some rally reminders that was sent to me about the No Kings, and the reminders I want to send out to the audience today is on this segment, I think very much resonates with who you are as well. The reminders are celebrate family and kids, keep the atmosphere family friendly. and invite children to join with songs and joyful ways to express civic pride. Smile and greet each other, say hello, wave, share a word of encouragement. Small acts of friendliness build community, trust, and lower tension. And lift your voice with positivity. Joy is contagious. The more you smile, sing, and stay grounded, the safer and stronger everyone around you feels. And I know for a fact you're one of the most joyful people I know. So thank you for lending your voice, your joyful voice, and your serious voice of how do we build people together. Thank you for joining us, Deborah.
Thank you for having me, Lori.
Absolutely, Deb, you're the best. So thank you again. And we're going to take a break. But before we do you want to share the phone number, my friend Rick, on how folks can call in if they'd like?
Sure. Our AM 950 studio line, 952-946-6205.
And we'll be right back and hear more from folks who are participating in the No Kings Rally.
Live and share mental health with Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness.
Beth, are you on the line?
I am. Hi.
With Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
You want to feel important? You want to be part of something bigger? Something that matters and that you can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I'm Sergeant First Class Chris Urick from Glencoe, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers. We are people just like you. And together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblot. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy this afternoon with a high of 63. Then this evening, rain expected with an overnight low of 42. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and our topic today is We the People. And we'll be speaking to those who are participating in the largest protest in our U.S. history. Our country was founded on No Kings, and we continue the proud tradition with our nationwide No King rallies. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo.
That's me. Hi.
And we're delighted that we have some callers that have called in. We're going to start with Sean. Sean, hello.
Hi there.
Sean, are you going to a rally?
I most definitely am. I'm going to the Anoka rally.
Wonderful. Tell me why this rally is important to you.
I think it's important to show strength in numbers. I think it's important to explain, especially to people that are on the fence, that this is important. I don't think we're going to win any hearts and minds on the far right or the fundamentalists that are true believers. I think it's probably a waste of our time to even go that direction. I mean, the Speaker of the House is calling this the Hate America protests, and to malign people from using their constitutional rights to speak out just shows you how far this country has fallen. That there's a whole party of people that will elect people that will say things about us using our constitutional rights, means that there's probably a fair amount of people that we can't reach. And I think this protest is to help us build a movement from people that might have been sitting on the sidelines for a long time. You know, there's a whole third of this country that don't vote. And it's time to stir up that populace. Like, there's a lot of other countries that have a much higher turnout for their elections. And that's part of the problem, is that people are too comfortable. We're too materialistic. We stream shows, we pacify ourselves, and we think that our creature comforts will make up for the lack of liberty and the rights that we let slip away every day. And it's time to show people that, hey, our rights are being stripped away to the point where you're probably not going to be able to watch those TV shows that you thought were so entertaining anymore either. And so those people sitting on the fence, I think it's time for them to wake up and join us.
I've heard a demonization of the folks that are out there, and a depiction of the individuals that are going to these rallies is something very different than the folks that I know are going to these rallies. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Sean.
Well, I'm a public servant. I won't get into where I serve, but I've been a public servant for my entire career. I never thought when I went into public service that it would be an act of activism to actually be a public servant. But now I feel that, you know, with the funding cuts to essential welfare programs, with the boost to the military programs and the cuts to welfare programs, I find myself in a position where I have to be an activist in order to even sustain the programs that we try to provide for our community. It's a really sad thought, but I don't think people understand, like, what's the point of this giant military industrial complex to fight for freedom when we're taking those very freedoms away from our own people and unleashing the military upon our own citizens.
Sean.
And so I think because I'm a public servant, it has inspired me to take up the mantle.
Sean.
I also wanted to speak to one thing about one of your previous callers.
Okay.
I think the sentiment was very morally correct about, you know, meeting people where they're at and trying to not be so divisive. I think one thing that we have to keep in mind from an ethical perspective is that you cannot waste time. We don't have the time to try to reach fundamentalists. People's rights are being taken away today. I don't have time to sit down and unindoctrinate somebody who was raised to think a woman should spend their time in the kitchen and shut up and not vote.
That's a good
I don't
point.
have time for that. We have to act now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's urgent. You got
yes.
it. Yeah,
So
it
I appreciate the sentiment. I think we should use that energy for people that are in the middle, that haven't made up their minds, that need to be educated and that are open to that education. But the fundamentalists, you can't waste your time. It's just going to take you down into a dark path anyway. So let's bring the joy. Let's bring people along that are ready to be woken up.
John, thank you so much for your activism and your support, and your belief and your strength. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you calling in. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We have another caller, Beth. Beth,
Hello.
Hello. So tell me about why it's important to you to be at the rally.
Oh my goodness, courage begets courage. And it's so important to send the message to, as Sean referenced, the people who are on the fence and don't pay as much attention to politics, but also the legislators around the country who might discover, oh, not everybody is with Trump and Mike Johnson and Russell Vought and Stephen Miller. There are a lot of us who are reasonable, who love our country. It's important to show all those people our numbers.
And the strength of we, the people.
Amen, sister.
And
Exactly.
Beth, which one are you going to today?
I'm actually going to St. Louis Park.
Okay.
I went to the No Kings rally at the Capitol and decided, well, I want to be with my local folks and see what that's like.
Got it.
So, and I really think it's important. And I can't add much to your great callers already, but it's really important that we sometimes look inward.
Mm-hmm.
It is really easy to say right now, oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate them. But I need to work against that. I have friends still who are Trump supporters, a couple who are full on MAGA. And it's work for me to not be angry with them all the time. But we need to remember that's what Trump and Stephen Miller and Russell Vought want. They want to divide us. We have to do the work to not allow that to happen. One glimmer of hope, I do have a family member who's all in MAGA, but we had a conversation recently where they admitted, I didn't vote for them to deport innocent people. I voted to deport criminals.
Yeah.
That is a crack in the wall. That there are people who are starting to see the evil that is happening. And so if we can work for common ground, and I agree with Sean, we're not going to change the vote of the people who are all in for that side. But there are so many people who don't follow politics like we do that we can find common ground. Start with if you're a Christian, what are your Christian values? Do you care about the environment? Do you care about food safety? Find that common ground, and then you can talk about what we want to happen instead of what they are doing now.
Do you care for the
I think
sick?
that's
Do you care for the poor? Do you, all those principles that we grow up in whatever faith we have, our faiths all, it's like a big Venn diagram about how we treat others and care for each other is really sort of the inner tenet of as Rick was saying, the ethics that drive us, the morals.
Exactly. And hey, if Marjorie Taylor Greene
can
find common ground with us about healthcare costs, that is hugely hopeful. There's more. I still believe there's more that unites us than divides us, and we have to work on that.
And as you and others have mentioned, we're working against decades of media monopoly, disinformation, propaganda that sort of inoculated a lot of the population against actual facts. They've just been saying that people, like I used to teach university ethics, and like they literally have been saying I should be hunted in the streets. And that's hard to work against that sort of ignorance.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And
it's
go ahead.
Cruel. And I don't think our values should be cruel. And there's common ground right there.
Yeah.
I love that part of the goal of the No Kings rally is the concept and the importance of joy always conquering hate. And and it's hard when you're feeling angst and fear and disillusionment and inner crisis to find joy. But I
Amen.
believe joy can be found when you find those connections with those people that have the same courage and the same energy and the same hope to make a change.
Yes, and you know, not rallies and showing up in big crowds is not for everyone.
Right.
And I get that. I mean, my 85, almost 90-year-old dad are not going to show up to a rally. However, Mom and I wrote letters last year. An organization called Vote Forward makes it easy for us to send letters to potential voters who may be underrepresented. Takes about an hour, hour and a half, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee to have an influence, to encourage voter turnout. We can all wear positive messages. I don't remember what button I was wearing when a person at the grocery store bagging my groceries, the button said, "Ask me about." Right, so she asked me. Cool. We had a brief conversation where I was able to persuade her. I think Maureen mentioned that earlier.
I love being a personal billboard.
Yes. So
that can engage.
Can't go out to a rally. Find something you can do. We all can do something to participate in promoting our democracy and fixing at least some of it.
Well, that speaks to some of the rally reminders that I want to make sure that I share. Make your sign speak peace. Choose messages that uplift, creative, clever, value-based, signs that draw attention without aggression or profanity. Be mindful of words and tone. Speak with kindness, even when disagreeing. Avoid the insult, sarcasm, or chants that demean others that we can get pulled into. And keep it clean and respectful. And keeping our rally space when you go out there as beautiful as you found it is a great idea as well. Treat everything and everyone with care and gratitude for peace. And Beth, I want to thank you for all that you do to work towards peace.
Thank you.
And to
thank you.
And to rally for no kings, and
amen,
and to encourage we the people to take our stand as a powerful. That's how our country was started. Let's continue that with strength and dignity and with courage.
Yes, we the people. Thank you.
And with that, we'll need to go to our next segment. But if folks do want to call in, what's a good number to have them call, Rick?
952-946-6205.
Stay with us. We have one more segment and lots of good things to talk about here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota on Connections Radio Show.
Saturday, October 18th is no
Nailed it.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
I'm Dr. Stefano Sinacropi, an orthopedic spine surgeon and wellness evangelist, hosting the brand new Recharging the Human Battery show on AM 950 radio. My co-host Mandy Dickey and I will delve into various health topics ranging from medicine to nutrition to exercise, emerging technologies, and yes, some way out there stuff. Will provide a balanced view of today's landscape, helping listeners navigate its complexities and hoping to change the way you think about your health. Recharging the Human Battery airs Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. And I'm glad that you have made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and our topic has been We the People. And we've been speaking to those who are participating in the largest protest in our U.S. history. Our country was founded on No Kings, and we continue this proud tradition with our nationwide No King rallies. Hosting with me today is Rick Bernardo.
Hi, that's me.
And you're going to a rally?
I'm going to a rally, the Twin Cities one. There's a 6 general Twin Cities area ones, but I'm going to the one in downtown Minneapolis later at 1 o'clock. The website for people to check on this would be indivisible.twincities.org, indivisible.twincities.org. And you can just plug in your zip code and see what's going on near you, but also for anyone else in the country, indivisible.org. Go to there.
And we have a guest with us today that is going to be at the Minneapolis rally as well. Dana, how are you?
I'm very well. Good morning, Lori Beth and Rick. Thanks for doing the show.
Absolutely. Dana, you are a magnificent pianist, and I love that you always bring your heart and your soul to things that are important to you. And we're glad that you're with us today.
Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely. Tell me why this is important to you.
I was at the April rally, and I was at the June rally. And June, if you remember, the June rally was the day that Melissa Hortman and her husband and dog were killed. And that really shook us up. There hasn't been another rally all summer. I'm at this one here because it's going to be our biggest one yet. And I hate feeling isolated. And when I went to the other 2 rallies, it was such an uplifting experience. It's just that sense of community and like, oh, I'm not the only one. And oh, look at all these wonderful people. We want the same things. Because if I represent the group of old white women that are, go ahead, film me. I'm not a terrorist, really. Look at me. It's so, I'm going there because it's important to me to say I did that. I didn't just talk about it.
And when you went to these other rallies, how did that make you feel?
It was uplifting. It was so great because they're trying to, this regime, and it is a regime, is trying to divide us. And Abraham Lincoln had it right. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And I think the thing that is so frightening for this regime is the fact of that people are standing up and there is power in the numbers because it is a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And we, the people, are saying no more.
And that takes courage. There's a lot of people that are afraid.
Well, I understand that. I am reticent also, but I cannot look at my grandchildren and the next generation and go like, well, I was a little too afraid to show up and say anything. I thought maybe somebody might get mad at me or I might get in trouble. No, this is good trouble. We're getting in good trouble here. And if it was good enough for the founding fathers, Washington, Jefferson, Adams, which, by the way, were the original liberals.
Yes, yes. I believe they spoke out against having a king, as I recall, was one of the major tenets.
I do believe that that is one of the things they said, and they are rolling over right now. You know, it's I have to speak up. I can't just be there. And I think that we're just radical enough to believe that the founding fathers had it right.
I also wanted to ask you about how your art. What do you feel how art can also be part of not just the No Kings rally today, but No Kings as a concept? How does art help support a way forward as well?
Well, it's another way to go ahead and bring people together. We're so isolated with our devices, etc. I try to create a space where we have a shared experience, and you walk for a little while. You can just forget about all the angst of what's going on and find joy. Find joy in your life, and that's how I bring joy to people. That's what I want you to leave one of my shows smiling, and for just a little bit you forgot, and that translates to No Kings. They're not bringing joy. There's not joy. There is no joy in Mudville.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your heart and sharing your message as well. We have one more call in, and Julie is on the line.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. You know, I'm a little old white lady, up in years, and I'm fighting cancer. But you know what? There's a lot I can do. I love radio, and I call in various shows. And as you know, most of the radio stations in America are far right. There's like 1,500 far right radio shows, and maybe a handful or two of progressive stations. But once in a while, they're taking calls, and I call and I think I present an intelligent argument. A lot of people don't want to call radio shows. They're shy about it, so they'll text. But I don't think those people realize that there might come a day where you not only can't call a radio station, but you can't even send a text without worrying about being surveyed, you know, that harm could come to you because they know where you live, etc. And so,
and Julie,
I get a lot of satisfaction about calling.
We so appreciate you because we all can't be at a rally, but our voice is important. And however we can share our voice, which includes calling into Connections Radio Show, can make a difference. Thank you, Julie, for sharing from your heart and sharing your voice with us. And this is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota with Connections Radio Show.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T.